Yes! What is up, everyone? How's it going? Ready to talk some shop? Now, we've hit the end of the Premier League, now known as the new Bundesliga, because the same team wins the league over and over and over and over. And actually, that joke doesn't work anymore because Bayern Munich, who are fresh off of winning 11 consecutive Bundesliga trophies, signed Harry Kane, which was the biggest red flag for all of us to know that they weren't going to win a trophy this season. And poor Harry Kane, man, is there anyone more cursed in the game than him? And it's not like he's not doing his job either. He won the Golden Boot in the German league off of 36 goals in 34 games, and he tied with Kylian Mbappe for the Golden Boot in the Champions League with 8 goals, and he had 4 assists as well. I mean, the guy is doing the work. It's kind of just everybody else. So let's give it up to Bayer Leverkusen. A team that had never won the league in its 115-year history and had a nickname of Bayer Neverkusen, not only won the league, but did it by not losing a game all season. And now they're on the edge of winning the treble this very week. They face Atalanta in the Europa League final, then Saarbrücken in the German Cup final, the DFB Pokal, I love that name. And they're favorites in both, so if they win all 3 of these trophies without losing a game, they have to be in the conversation as one of the best European teams of all time. And don't fight me on this, okay? Their manager, Xabi Alonso, is the real deal. And I look forward to seeing where he goes after Bayer Leverkusen. He's committed to 1 more year, but after that, I feel like he's going to have a choice of teams. Real Madrid, Liverpool, maybe Sporting Kansas City, my former club. They're struggling right now. Anyway, back to the new Bundesliga, where Man City and their 115 alleged finance breaches, that's a lot, won the league trophy for the 6th time in 7 years. And for the 4th consecutive year as well, which is the first time that's ever been done in Premier League history. So we have to give it up. Congratulations to Pep Guardiola and his players, because regardless of the amount of talent that they have, they still have to go out there and consistently execute to win. So they do deserve a lot of credit for that. But if I was putting together a Premier League team of the season and trying to put that team of the season into a real formation and not just 3 defenders and then 7 attacking mids, wingers, and strikers, you need some balance in your team. It's got to look real. I only think I would probably have 2 City players in that team. And actually, let's just make that the rule. Only 2 players max from one team. And from City, I'm going to go with Phil Foden, who was tremendous this season, finishing with 19 league goals, 17 of which were from open play. Only his teammate Erling Haaland and Aston Villa's Ollie Watkins had more from open play. But those dudes are number 9s, so they're in a much better position to get the tap-ins, you know? Foden, not so much. And I'm going to go with Rodri, who set personal records for goals in the season with 8, assists with 9, and he made 400 more passes than any other player in the league. And his main job is to protect the back 4. What is he doing with those numbers? So I would say, and I don't think this is too big of a stretch, that he is City's most important player. Which is also a long way of me saying that I'm leaving Erling Haaland off of my team. And I don't care if he won the Golden Boot. I just had a made-up rule, and we have to adhere to that. Against the other teams, though, and I think this is important, against the other teams that finished in the top 4, Arsenal, Liverpool, and Aston Villa, he scored once in 5 games. And the 2 legs against Real Madrid in the Champions League knockout rounds, he didn't score any. And okay, fine, those games against Madrid shouldn't factor into this, but it highlights the fact that he had some trouble scoring goals in the biggest of games this season, which is why I have Ollie Watkins in as the number 9 instead, because not only does there need to be some representation from Aston Villa, who were 14th just 2 seasons ago, and now they're in the Champions League, but because Ollie finished with 19 goals, good for 4th in the league, and 13 assists, which is good for 1st overall, and that deserves our respect. Flanking him in the front 3, flanking him. That's a funny flanking him. Anyway, it's Bukayo Saka, who notched 16 goals and 9 assists for the almost champion Gunners. Also, another great stat for Saka, he's got more touches inside the opposing team's box than any other player in the league, which I believe really speaks to his team's playing style, but also his own desire to make things happen in the most important area of the field. And on the other side of Watkins, flanking him on the other side, I'm going with Heung-min Son. Yes, I know that might be a little bit controversial because he was quiet down the stretch with his 3 goals and 2 assists in his last 10 games as Spurs and him sputtered to 5th place, just 2 points away from the Champions League. But overall, he had 17 goals and 10 assists for a Spurs team that were fun to watch. And this was with them losing their best player, Harry Kane, right before the season started, which felt like a pretty cruel way to start a season. So I'm very curious to see what the Spurs team will look like when it's a little bit more settled under Big Ange Postecoglou after the summer. Underneath that front three, I got Chelsea's Cole Palmer, who, fresh off of being freed from Man City's bench, drove the Blues to a respectable 6th place finish, only 5 points off the top 4, despite all of their turmoil, like a crazy-ass American owner signing way too many players, and they had countless injuries. But with Palmer's 22 goals, though 9 were penalties, and 11 assists, the Blues showed glimpses that they are going to be a force moving forward. And right next to him, I have Phil Foden, which means that front 5 is going to be super spicy. And then Rodri is in the 6th spot with Foden and Palmer in front of him. And Rodri better have his running shoes on because he's going to have to cover a lot of ground when they lose the ball. Then in my back 4, I have Arsenal's Ben White at right back. The dude played in 37 of 38 games. He scored 4 goals and had 4 assists for the league's best defense, and he was second only to Kieran Trippier in chances created by a defender this season. That's pretty good. And in an effort to spread the love around, since I'm not allowed to have more than 2 players from one team, that's the rule that I set for myself, I'm going with Liverpool's Virgil van Dijk, who I believe got back to his very best this season, though similar to Heung-min Son, maybe he didn't peak down the stretch like some of these other guys, but I thought if you look over the duration of the season, he deserved to be in there. And I'm going to put Everton's James Tarkowski right next to him. Yes, I know, a guy from Everton made my list. And that's because Everton had the 2nd worst attack in the Premier League. They only scored 40 goals in 38 games. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, have a word with yourself. It was a mere 56 less goals than Man City. So to not get relegated, their defense had to be as close to perfect as possible, and it was. They had the 4th best defense in the league, only bested by Arsenal, City, and Liverpool. It's pretty impressive. And Tarkowski won more aerial duels than any other player and was second in clearances and interceptions. And yes, he should be in the team. And to round off my back 4, on the left, I'm going with Fulham's Anthony Jedi Robinson. And yes, I'm biased because he plays for the U.S. men's national team, but thankfully he has the stats to back it up. He led all left backs in assists, duels won, and he led the whole league in interceptions. So enough said, the dude is a baller. And last but not least, in goal, it's Andre. Oh, no, I'm just kidding. I'm actually going to go with Wolves' Jose Sa because he had a better overperformance against his expected goals on target conceded, the XGOT, for all you soccer nerds out there, than anybody else in the league. He faced over 58 XG this season and only gave up 49 goals, which if Wolves gave up those 9 as expected, they might have been facing a different fate than finishing in 14th. So shout outs to the man, myth, and legend known as Jose Sa. Anyway, that's it. That's all I got. Do you agree with me? Probably not, but that's the fun of it. So let me know your team in the comments. Remember, no more than 2 players per team, and then we'll see what's what. But I think my squad's pretty good. Pretty well balanced, all things considered. Maybe could have had some more defensive help, maybe more of a proper number 8 in my midfield next to Rodri. Maybe Declan Rice. But outside of that, that would go over my rule. That means I'd have to take out Ben White and or Bukayo Saka, which I guess you can make a kid. Listen, this is what we're going to do in the comments. We're going to have a conversation. So hit like and subscribe and all that fun stuff, and I'll see you soon. Later.